Alright my G, so I'm going to show you how to make a white noise sweep in Phase Plant, and it's a really basic sound, but it's a super useful versatile sound that is quite often used in every single track that I produce at least. But yeah, I like to create my own white noise sweeps because I like to sort of customize them a little bit and put a little bit of character into them as well. So here is a little white noise sweep that I've created here. Okay, and it might be a little bit low on your headphones, so you might have to turn things up a bit. But yeah, it's supposed to be that kind of volume, you know, and it doesn't really make sense to have it super loud either. I have treated it slightly in the post-processing just to taste, but most of the sound is made in Phase Plant. You can hear it again here. So you see it has this little kind of movement and character on it as well. So let's break down how to make it. And as you would assume, it's very, very simple. It's made just with white noise. And the white noise is found here in the, generators, just noise here. And then you've got the stable mode. The stereo is up a little bit to 74%. The slope is a little bit to the right, so it's not super, super bright. It's on the default setting here. And then I've got a high pass filter, which has some movement on. And it starts off just around 5K. And we have a little bit of attack and release, but most of the volume is going to be controlled via the LFO here. So one main LFO is set to 16/4. So that means you've basically got kind of 4 bars. So the first 2 bars going up and then the second 2 bars going down. So the first thing to track it to is the level of the white noise. So it starts at 0 and it will go up to about 70% here. You know, the shape is just a pyramid with a bit of sort of curving, as you can see here. So it's got a bit of an exponential kind of vibe to it. Then I have a little bit of movement on the cutoff as well. So it starts at 5K, but it goes to the left around 15%. So it actually it gives you a bit more low end as you get to the top. And that kind of gives the impression also that it's getting a bit louder because you have more frequencies from the white noise coming through in the lower, slightly lower down in the spectrum. Okay, so that's the vibe then, the volume and the cutoff, a little bit on there. And then I did use the unison on this one. It actually sounds quite good on the white noise. So the vibe now is to give it a bit of character, a bit of movement, and to add a lot of space to the white noise because the white noise originally in here is dry, so most of the things that I'm doing after this are to give it a lot of the processing I'm doing is to give it extra space, like reverb, room sound, so room sound. So yeah, you can see a bit of unison, spread around 31% and the blend about 70. Then we can firstly start to reverb it, and this is where you can sort of pick slightly different colors you could put onto the white noise. So I've gone for the Spokane Women's Club, but there's a few others you could go for, like the Sports Center maybe. They give you a little bit of almost like a little pitch into the white noise, So the Spokane Women's Club is a bit of a lower down pitch, and I mixed that in. Yeah, it gives it a nice sense of depth and changes the color very, very slightly. Now I'm using the ring mod to add in movement, and with the sine oscillator here, what you can do is you can use the frequency amount here, and it will basically, if I turn this all the way up, the frequency amount, if you have it down here really low, it'll add a bit of a tremolo effect to the white noise, So let's put that back. But I don't want it on the whole time, and I don't want it too extreme either. So I have the mix on 0, and it comes up just 22% on the LFO. So you get a little more tremolo as you get to the top of the curve here. Okay, so you just have to balance that in with your frequency and your bias and your rectify. They also kind of change the speed a little bit here. There's a bit of spread on this ring mod as well. And yeah, the speed is actually changing a bit. So it kind of gets from slow to fast. If you listen closely, I can exaggerate the effect here. So at the top, it's at its fastest. So it kind of gets almost a bit glitchy. Okay, but that for me is where that's why I like to make white noise myself, because I can customize it to do cool stuff like that. Because in each track you might want a different vibe, and with white noise there's only so much you can do. You can wash it out more, you can have it drier, you can color it a little bit, or you can add like little bits of movement into it like this. Aside from that, there's not too many other crazy things you can do with it before it becomes something else, But it's good to customize it to the extent that you can, and playing with little movements like that can help distinguish your white noise sweeps from everyone else's, So there you go. There you have a non-linear filter. And this really changes the character quite a lot. Yeah, so that makes quite a big difference as well, because it really changes the original sound of the white noise. That's optional, of course. I just wanted to show you like another way that you could potentially color the white noise, so it's slightly different to just like completely flat, clean white noise. You could take it or leave it for that kind of thing, but it does change the color a little bit, and it's just by dipping out some frequencies with a nice shaped filter, giving a bit more of a shape into the white noise to make it sort of slightly different, But anyway, we'll leave that on because we like a bit of variation. Then I'm just sort of boosting the high end or everything, most of the white noise, to be honest, 700 hertz and upwards, pretty much the whole thing. Just boosting the volume a bit, adding a little bit of delay. Difficult to notice it too much because it's all sort of sustained anyway, but we'll add an extra little bit of stereo width there with the sort of left and right ping pong delays. Then I'm doing another volume automation. Because we've got the reverb on and we've got the delay on and things, it becomes a bit more sustained, and we start to go away from that original shape of volume kind of dynamism, So by lowering the gain, sort of -10, and then bringing it up again on the LFO, I can, re-establish a bit of that shape to the whole volume of the whole white noise throughout the 4 bars, So it gives me a bit of control of the whole volume level again, and it kind of matches the shape again here. All right, then a touch more reverb, just the normal kilohertz one, 15%. A little more reverb with a white blur, 800 milliseconds, at around 21%. Okay, just softening it a little bit more each time, and then just clipping it, just basically turning the volume up here on the clipper. It doesn't particularly need to be clipped because it's nowhere near going up to 0 anyway, but I'm just using this as a gain, essentially. And it just feels smart to have it on the end just in case. So that's basically it. It's very, very simple, as you see. And then I have done a bit of post-processing here, which is, as you can see, a little bit supermassive, because I feel like the color of the supermassive is really nice, and it's something that's, different to the colors that you get within Phase Plant. So up to sort of 20 or 30% or something like that. And then a final EQ to take out more low end, just to kind of mix it into taste now. Really gentle slope going up just below 1000 hertz. Okay, and then you can use those final kind of tweaks with the reverb amount to soften it more, and the EQ point to kind of get it to fit in your mix down a bit nicer, Then you can adjust the volume, of course, as well. And then once you're happy with it, you don't need to leave your Phase Plant open and running the whole time. You can bounce it out as a sample, and then you've got your own customized white noise sweep that you've made to sort of fit fit the vibe of the track. And then something that I'll often do is I'll often chop the little parts out as well, you know, and I might take little parts of the impact, but you know, a smaller kind of portion of it to use, you know, maybe at another integral part of the progression of the tune, maybe sort of halfway through here. And then I got this little little white noise impact without the sweep, you know. I can do other things like have you got to be careful not to cause clicks if you're going to chop things like I am here, and it can also be useful once you've created that sample to add a touch more reverb to give it a little tail if you're going to do any chopping like this. So you give it a little extra reverb tail, so you can do things like a sweep here and then it cuts to silence, you know, and for that sort of silence, yeah, it can be nice to have a touch of reverb so it doesn't go completely into nothing, you know. So you could have something like that, and then obviously you can move it around if you feel like the end part's a little bit sharp there. Maybe you want to use just an earlier part of it like this, then you could sort of, yeah, chop it there against the grid, give it a bit more of a fade out. Then it's perhaps a little bit softer there, you know, and then you could use that also as a kind of vibe, you know. You know, maybe a certain section later on you want to have, you want that kind of upward sweep, but not the tail down again, not the impact, you know. And here, like, it's cool without the sweep here, but just the impact. So you can, once you've designed it in this way with the sweep up and the sweep down built in, if you just pick the middle point, for example, you know, you can use it just as an impact or just as a sweep up. You don't have to use it the whole way through the same, you know, you can kind of do what you want with it, but it's got already nice character and color and movement on it, you know. So that's a simple way to do white noise sweeps. It's a utility sound. It's not a crazy, oh my god, how awesome and wonderful is this neurofunk bass kind of tutorial today. It's a very useful sound though, and it is probably a sound that I've used in every single track, because even if you're not doing something so obvious with it, you know, where you can really hear it, if you just have it very low and subtly in the background, it's going to be perfect for giving you those kind of energy changes for your transitions, you know. So even if you don't notice it so much when you're listening to the track, it's there in the background and it does a wonderful job at transitions, you know. So there you go, there you have it. That's the white noise sweep in Phase Plant. Hope you guys enjoyed that. Leave a like and a comment and subscribe as well. And check out the links in my videos for preset packs for Phase Plant, Vital, Current and Serum. And mentorship, one-on-one lessons we've got available, mastering work, and a wonderful Patreon community as well. Come and join us in Discord and say hello. All right, that's it for me today. More from me very soon. Much love.